One of the greatest catalysts that has personally grown my faith in Jesus Christ is something I did not expect, but it's actually the steps and stages of forgiveness. Working through those steps and stages has made Jesus Christ so much more rich in my life. And when it comes to forgiveness, oftentimes we think, well, what does that even look like? Is that you just wake up, on a Monday and just say, hey, I've forgiven what happened, in my past, what happened in my childhood, what happened in my first or second marriage? Is it that easy? And I'm telling you, that would be awesome if it was actually that easy. But when it comes to forgiveness, it actually is a process. And forgiveness can take time. It can take months. It can take actually years. And there are steps and stages to forgiveness. And the first step to begin to experience that freedom that we all desire is to begin to answer the question, what did they do? And here's what's so key is you've got to write this down. Either you need a pen and paper or get your computer and sit there, and you've got to be intentional. This is key to it. And to write down specifically, what did they do? Specifically, what did my father say? And what did he do? What did my mother say? And what did she do? Specifically, was it a 15-second act? Was it a 35-second act? And here's the thing. Be as specific and as unfiltered as you possibly can and write it down. And then you go to step 2. And step 2 is the idea to go, what do I struggle with as a result? Today I struggle with my security. Today I struggle with my confidence. Today I struggle with my anger as a result of what's happened. Today I struggle with relationships with men or women as a result of what happened. What is it that you struggle with as a result of what he or she or they did? And then to write it down. And here's what's important to understand. This is not a linear process, that as you move into step 2 and say, here's the things I struggle with, it will bring up some memories of what specifically did they do, and add to that, and again, write it down. And then step 3 is to say, what do they owe me? Answer the question, what is it your dad owes you? What is it your mom owes you? What is it your first husband owes you? What is it that group of individuals, what do they owe you? Do they owe you a reputation? Do they owe you a childhood? Do they owe you the first marriage? Do they owe you tucking you in at bed at night when you were a little boy or a little girl? What is it specifically that they owe you? And then write it down. And again, this is not a linear process. This may bring things up in stage 1 or step 1 is to go, what do they do? And then write that down again. And then the final step is ultimately is to cancel the debt. Is because once you discover what they owe you, what you begin to realize is they can't ever fully repay that debt because you can't go back to when you were 10 years old. You can't go back to that first marriage. You can't go back to when you were in high school or that spring break trip or whatever happened in the office when you lost your job because of what they said or what they did. And ultimately, you're going to have to get to a place to honestly cancel the debt. But here's the deal. I honestly don't know how you do that outside of Christianity. Because it's only in Christianity that I think you can go to the cross of Jesus Christ, that you can look at his eyes, you can see his mercy and his grace, and you can see his forgiveness for you, for everything that you have done, that your debt has been canceled. It's been paid in full by Jesus Christ. And the longer you spend there, and this is what I'm talking about, the faith and the catalyst of faith, the longer you spend with Jesus Christ and you see what he's done for you, it ultimately empowers you to cancel the debt. And yes, once you cancel the debt, there's going to be times you're going to bump into it. There's going to be scars that you're going to see in the mirror, and you're going to be reminded of the wounds of the past. But when you are reminded, it's to remind yourself what you've done and to remind yourself that you have canceled the debt. And the reason you've canceled the debt is because Jesus Christ has canceled the debt for you. And when you walk through those stages, step 1, what do they do? What do I struggle with? What do they owe me? And ultimately cancel the debt. That's what begins to set you free, and that's forgiveness.